From Claude Sports Corner. I apologize in advance for taking so long to upload another video, but we're back again, and I promise you that we will never take that long ever again, and we'll get right down to it. First, I'm going to start off about the NCAA football playoffs. Number 1, they have Alabama. Number 2, they have Oregon. Number 3, they have Florida State. And number 4, I believe they have Ohio State, who jumped over both Baylor and TCU. Now, before I start with that, I will touch on the Heisman Trophy upcoming this Saturday. They're going to vote for a winner. The 3 finalists are the running back from Wisconsin. I believe his name is Gordon. His last name is Gordon. I can't think of his first name right now. The Oregon quarterback, Marcus Mariota, and the Alabama wide receiver, Amani Cooper. Now, out of those 3, I feel that Amani Cooper is going to be the best pro out of those 3. Gordon's going to be very good, but they've devalued the running back position. Now, the eventual winner, to me, is going to be Marcus Mariota. Now, Marcus Mariota's had a very good year, and he runs that spread offense, that up-tempo offense that Oregon runs, and to me, that sort of skewed his numbers, and he does have huge numbers. But even though he did not have as good a year this year, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Jameis Winston from Florida State, obviously he did not have a great year, especially by last year's standards, but he actually has been more valuable to Florida State this year than he was last year. Remember, last year's defense was much more of an in-your-face, shut-down-the-run defense. This year, Florida State's defense has struggled a lot, especially with the run. Now, they struggled in the pass game too, but last year they had Timmy Jernigan, who this year is playing for the Baltimore Ravens, and having a pretty good year at the nose tackle position, especially without Haloti Ngata, who was suspended for the year by the NFL for the Ravens, and he was their top nose tackle, and has been for about 8 years. But this year, even though Winston has not been the better player in college this particular year, to me, Jameis Winston is going to be the much better pro player. If you watch him, his arm is way better. He's better in the pocket. Now, this year, he's made some questionable decisions in throwing the football and where he's been throwing the football, but he's been under much more duress. And he has much less weapons this year than he did last year. Remember, he's also missing Kelvin Benjamin, who's this year playing for Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. And I'd be remiss, even though we're not talking about the NFL right now, I would be remiss in not wishing Cam Newton a very speedy recovery after the horrific accident that he had yesterday. If you don't know, he had a couple of micro fractures in his back, and I just pray for him and for his family, and I wish him a very speedy and quick recovery. But going back to the NCAA playoffs, again, Mariota will end up winning the Heisman, but Jameis Winston was a much better player. Okay, also, I just have this feeling Mariota is more of a guy who's a systems quarterback. You can throw Winston in any system as a drop-back passer. He's not exactly a scrambler, but he is elusive enough to get the throws off. But Mariota has to be in a spread situation, whereas Jameis Winston can be in any type of situation. You can have him in a power run situation. You can have him in a spread situation. You could also have him as a classic drop-back passer. I mean, any type of situation you want him in, he could play that position very, very well. Now, going back to my pick, now, me personally, I would choose the Wisconsin running back because he's had the much better season, but they're going to give it to Mariota because he's on the quote-unquote number 2 team in the country, and he plays the quarterback position, and he has much more gaudy numbers playing at that type of spread option quarterback position. So Marcus Mariota is going to be the odds-on favorite to win. But Amani Cooper, who I really haven't touched on, is going to me, be the better pro and have a longer career because he plays a premium position at wide receiver. Every quarterback needs at least one premium wide receiver. And he comes from Alabama, so he's going to probably go in the top 5 when it comes to the NFL draft, if the draft had started right now. Now, obviously, there are going to be combines, and people are going to move up or down depending on the combine.